It was a sunny day in early spring when fate decided to intervene in my life. I was attending a company event with my father, Thomas, who was the proud head of a successful business empire. The venue was buzzing with excitement, and little did I know that this evening would mark the beginning of a beautiful love story. As I mingled with the guests, I noticed a confident yet humble man across the room. His name was John, and he had recently joined my father's company. His charisma and intelligence were apparent as he engaged in conversation with various attendees. My curiosity piqued. I decided to make my move. Approaching him with a smile, I introduced myself. "Hi, I'm Kathy. I don't believe we've met before." John turned to me, his eyes lighting up with genuine warmth. "Hello, Kathy. I'm John. It's a pleasure to meet you." We exchanged pleasantries and soon found ourselves engrossed in a delightful conversation. John's passion for his work and his wit were captivating, and I found myself drawn to him in a way I hadn't experienced before. As the evening unfolded, we discovered shared interests and laughed together, feeling an inexplicable connection that seemed to grow stronger with each passing moment. Later that night, my father noticed the spark between us and couldn't help but smile. "You seem to have hit it off with John," he remarked, nudging me playfully. I blushed, trying to hide my excitement. "Yes, Dad. He's really wonderful, and he's doing a great job at the company, too." "I'm glad to hear that," my father replied, his eyes twinkling with happiness. "If he's worthy of my daughter's attention, then he must be quite special indeed." As the weeks passed, John and I spent more time together. We went on dates, shared our dreams and aspirations, and grew closer with each passing day. Our love blossomed like a delicate flower, and it felt as if we were destined to be together. One evening, while strolling hand in hand through a park, John turned to me with a shy smile. "Kathy, there's something I need to tell you," he said, his voice filled with sincerity. I looked at him, curious and slightly nervous. "What is it, John?" He took a deep breath, as if gathering his courage. "I've fallen in love with you, Kathy. You've captured my heart in a way I never thought possible." Overwhelmed with emotions, I felt tears welling up in my eyes. "John, I feel the same way. You've brought so much joy into my life," I confessed, feeling a surge of happiness and vulnerability. From that moment on, we became inseparable. Our love flourished amidst the challenges and joys of life. John's dedication to his work at the company impressed not only my father, but also everyone around him. His hard work and determination were recognized, and he quickly rose through the ranks to become my father's deputy. And so our love story began, rooted in respect, admiration, and a shared vision for the future. Little did we know that our happiness would soon be tested, and our love would face its greatest trial yet. But that is a tale for the chapters that lie ahead. Our love story continued to unfold, and John and I basked in the warmth of our happiness. Days turned into weeks, and weeks into years, as we built a life together filled with love, laughter, and shared dreams. His duration and hard work at my father's company paid off, and he gained the trust and respect of both my father and his colleagues. It wasn't long before he was promoted to the position of deputy, second only to my father himself. I couldn't have been prouder of his achievements. As we settled into our roles, our lives intertwined seamlessly. We created a home filled with love and harmony, cherishing every moment spent together. John's unwavering support and encouragement fueled my own ambitions, and I pursued my passions with renewed vigor. One evening, as we sat on our cozy living room couch, I couldn't help but reflect on the incredible journey we had embarked upon. I turned to John, a contented smile on my face, and said, "Can you believe how far we've come, John?" From that fateful evening at the company event to this beautiful life we've built together. He smiled back at me, his eyes sparkling with love. "It's been an amazing journey, Kathy. I'm grateful every day for the love and happiness we share." We reminisced about our early days and the challenges we had overcome together. We laughed, recalling silly moments and inside jokes that had become a treasured part of our relationship. It was in those simple moments that our bond grew stronger, fortified by love, trust, and a shared understanding of each other's hopes and dreams. Outside of our home life, John's dedication to his work never wavered. He poured his heart and soul into the company, ensuring its continued success and growth. The respect he garnered from colleagues and employees was a testament to his commitment and leadership skills. My father, too, took pride in John's accomplishments. He would often express his admiration, saying, "You've found yourself a remarkable partner, Kathy." John is an exceptional individual, and I couldn't be happier to have him by our side. Together, we navigated the ups and downs that life presented, always supporting one another through triumphs and tribulations. Our love created a safe haven where we found solace and strength. A sanctuary we knew we could always return to. As the years passed, it became clear that our love story was meant to endure. Our commitment to one another grew deeper with each passing day, and the foundation we had built together became unshakable. Little did we know that the winds of change were about to blow, and our idyllic life would soon face an unforeseen storm. But that, my dear reader, is a tale for the chapters that lie ahead. Life had been seemingly perfect for John and me, wrapped in the cocoon of our love and success. But as the saying goes, nothing lasts forever. And so, our tranquil existence was about to be shaken by a drastic change that would test the strength of our relationship. It started innocently enough, a subtle shift in John's behavior that I initially brushed off as the result of work stress or personal concerns. But as days turned into weeks, it became apparent that something was amiss. John's once vibrant and joyful demeanor gave way to a restlessness I couldn't quite, curiosity tinged with concern. I confronted John one evening as we sat on our balcony, the city lights twinkling in the distance. "John, is everything okay? You seem preoccupied lately," I ventured, searching his eyes for answers. He sighed, his gaze fixed on the horizon. "I've been thinking a lot, Kathy, about my career, my ambitions. I want to make a mark, leave a legacy." I furrowed my brow, unsure of where this conversation was leading. "But you're already making a difference, John. You've achieved so much at my father's company." A bitter chuckle escaped his lips. "Yes, I have, but I want more, Kathy. I want to be in control, to have the power and authority to shape things my way." Confusion clouded my thoughts as I struggled to understand his sudden thirst for power. "John, what do you mean? You're already in a position of authority. You're my father's deputy." He turned to me, his eyes filled with an intensity I had never seen before. "Kathy, your father's illness has changed everything. He holds the key to the company's fortune, and I need to be by his side. I need to secure my position, to ensure that I have control when the time comes." Shock coursed through me as his words sank in. Was this the same man I had fallen in love with? The man who had cherished our love above all else? The realization that his intentions might not be as pure as they once seemed hit me like a wave of betrayal. Days turned into weeks, and John's dedication to my father became all-consuming. He spent every free moment with him, ingratiating himself and bending over backward to please him. It became clear that his sole motivation was to position himself favorably for the future, to take over the company once my father's health failed. One evening, after John returned from yet another visit to my father, his face etched with a calculating expression, he approached me with a tone of forced enthusiasm. "Kathy, guess what? Your father has entrusted me with an important project. He sees my potential, and I believe this could be the key to securing my future in the company." A mix of anger and sadness welled up inside me as I stared at him, searching for remnants of the man I had fallen in love with. "John, is that all you care about? Your own advancement? What about our love, our partnership?" He looked at me, his eyes devoid of the warmth and tenderness that once defined them. "Kathy, I love you, but I have to think about our future, about my ambitions. It's the only way I can guarantee a successful life for us." Tears welled up in my eyes as I struggled to come to terms with the reality of the situation. The man I had trusted and loved had become consumed by greed and ambition, willing to sacrifice our relationship for personal gain. And so, a storm was brewing, threatening to shatter the love story we had built. Little did John know that I, too, held a surprise in store. A twist of fate that would turn the tables and challenge his insatiable thirst for power. But that, my dear reader, is a tale for the chapters that lie ahead. The air in our once blissful home had grown heavy with tension. John's greed had cast a dark shadow over our love, and I could no longer ignore the truth that lay before me. The man I had once admired had transformed into a stranger driven solely by his insatiable desire for power and wealth. Days turned into weeks, and I watched in silence as John continued his calculated charade, spending all his free time with my ailing father. His efforts to please and manipulate were evident, leaving me feeling both helpless and betrayed. I knew I had to be prepared for the storm that was brewing to protect myself and my father's legacy. One fateful day, as I sat alone in my father's study, grappling with my emotions, a knock on the door snapped me out of my reverie. It was the family lawyer, Mr. Williams, a trusted confidant of my father. His presence brought a mix of apprehension and hope. "Kathy," he began, his voice gentle yet solemn, "your father's condition has taken a turn for the worse, and he wanted me to deliver some news to you personally." I nodded, my heart pounding in my chest. "What is it, Mr. Williams? Please tell me." He handed me an envelope, his eyes filled with sympathy. "Your father has bequeathed his entire fortune to you, Kathy. Everything he has worked for, all his wealth and assets, are now yours." Shock washed over me, and tears welled up in my eyes. Despite the painful truth I had come to learn about John, the love and respect my father had held for me had not wavered. It was a bittersweet moment, knowing that my father's final act was to ensure my happiness and security. Just with trembling hands, I signed the necessary documents, accepting the weight of my newfound responsibility. The attorney's words echoed in my mind, "Kathy, your father believed in you. He knew you were capable of carrying on his legacy and protecting what he had built." Word of my inheritance spread quickly, reaching John's ears. I knew confrontation was inevitable, but I refused to cower under the weight of his greed any longer. It was time for me to take a stand, to reclaim my life and my father's legacy from the clutches of a man who had lost sight of what truly mattered. As I stood before John, my voice steady and resolute, I said, "John, I've heard about your true intentions, about the lengths you've gone to secure your own future. But let me make one thing clear. My father's fortune is now rightfully mine, and I will not allow you to tarnish his legacy any further." He stared at me, a mixture of anger and disbelief in his eyes. "You don't deserve any of this, Kathy. I've worked so hard for this company, for our future together." I took a step closer, my gaze unwavering. "Your actions have shown me who you truly are, John. The man I fell in love with would never prioritize wealth and power over love and integrity. Our marriage is over, and you will have no place in my life or my father's company." His face contorted with rage as he shouted, "You can't do this. You'll regret." But his words fell on deaf ears. I had found the strength to stand up against his manipulation and greed. It was a defining moment, a turning point in our love story, as I realized that true happiness could never be built upon the foundations of deceit. And so, with a heavy heart but a renewed sense of purpose, I set out to protect my father's legacy and the company he had built with integrity. Little did I know that this newfound role as the manager of the company would test my resilience, strength, and determination in ways I never could have imagined. But that, my dear reader, is a tale for the chapters that lie ahead. Quite as my newfound responsibility as the manager of my father's company rested heavily on my shoulders. With each passing day, I immersed myself in the intricacies of running a business, determined to honor my father's legacy and protect the values he had instilled within the company. Deep amidst the challenges and adjustments that came with my new role, a surprising turn of events awaited me. One morning, as I sat in my father's office, poring over financial reports, a knock on the door interrupted my concentration. It was Mr. Jenkins, my father's longtime advisor and confidant. "Kathy," he greeted me warmly, a glimmer of excitement in his eyes. "I have something important to discuss with you. It concerns an unexpected inheritance that your father had kept hidden until now." My curiosity piqued. I gestured for him to take a seat. "Please, Mr. Jenkins, tell me more. What inheritance are you referring to?" He smiled, a mix of nostalgia and admiration on his face. "Your father had always been a shrewd businessman, Kathy, and he had investments beyond the company. One such investment turned out to be a small tech startup that has grown exponentially in recent years." Surprise washed over me as I processed his words. An unexpected inheritance? A tech startup? It was as if my father's guiding hand continued to shape my path, even beyond the grave. Mr. Jenkins continued, "Your father's stake in this company has become quite valuable. It has accumulated a significant amount of wealth, Kathy. You are now the majority shareholder, and the future success of this venture rests in your hands. I couldn't help but feel a mix of gratitude and apprehension. The weight of this new inheritance added another layer of complexity to my responsibilities. But deep down, I knew I had the strength and determination to navigate these uncharted waters. As the news settled within me, I turned to Mr. Jenkins, my voice filled with determination. Thank you for entrusting me with this information, Mr. Jenkins. I will ensure that my father's investment flourishes, upholding the values he cherished. He nodded, a glimmer of pride evident in his gaze. I have no doubt, Kathy. Your father saw something special in you, and I believe you have the capability to make a significant impact in the business world. With a newfound sense of purpose, I delved into the world of the tech startup. I surrounded myself with talented individuals who shared my vision and passion. Together, we forged a path forward, utilizing the resources and expertise at our disposal to nurture the company's growth. As months passed, the startup flourished under our guidance. Innovative ideas came to life, capturing the attention of investors and customers alike. The once small venture transformed into a leading player in the tech industry, solidifying my position as a respected businesswoman. Amidst the excitement of this unexpected inheritance. However, I remained grounded, never forgetting the values my father had instilled within me. Integrity, compassion, and a commitment to making a positive impact guided my decisions every step of the way. One evening, as I stood on the balcony of my penthouse office, overlooking the cityscape, John's face flashed in my mind. I couldn't help but wonder if his greed had led him down a different path. If he had found himself consumed by a sense of emptiness without the love and support we once shared. A soft breeze brushed against my cheek, as if whispering words of reassurance. In that moment, I knew that my decision to divorce John had been the right one. For myself, for my father's legacy, and for the future I was now shaping. With a renewed sense of purpose, I vowed to continue building a legacy rooted in integrity and compassion. My unexpected inheritance had not only enriched me financially, but also served as a reminder of the strength and resilience that resided within me. The echoes of my divorce from John reverberated through my life, leaving behind a mix of relief and heartache, as I embraced my role as the manager of my father's company and navigated the challenges of my unexpected inheritance. The wounds of our failed marriage began to heal. But fate had yet another test in store for me. A final confrontation with John would solidify my resolve and propel me further down the path of self. Weeks had passed since I had officially ended our marriage, severing the ties that once bound us together. However, remnants of our shattered relationship lingered, forcing us to confront the consequences of our choices. It was on a somber evening, the office cloaked in silence, that John appeared unannounced at my doorstep. His face held a mix of frustration and desperation as he locked eyes with me. Kathy, we need to talk. Please, just reluctantly I motioned for him to enter, curiosity mingling with a sense of caution. What could you possibly have to say, John? Our marriage is over. The damage has been done. He took a deep breath, his voice trembling with a mix of remorse and desperation. I know I've made mistakes, Kathy. I've let my ambition and greed cloud my judgment. But please, give me another chance. I can change. I can be the man you once loved. I looked at him, my gaze unwavering. John, trust is not easily rebuilt. Your actions have shown me a side of you that I cannot ignore. I cannot go back to a life where I constantly question your motives and priorities. Desperation etched his face as he pleaded, Kathy, please. Think about all we shared, all the dreams we had together. We can still make it work. I promise I'll do whatever it takes. But my heart remained resolute, fortified by the lessons I had learned and the strength I had discovered within myself. John, it's too late. Our paths have diverged, and I found my purpose in my father's company. I will not compromise my values or my happiness for a future filled with uncertainty and mistrust. His expression hardened, anger seeping into his voice. You're making a mistake, Kathy. You'll regret this decision. I won't let you take everything away from me. A mix of defiance and sadness washed over me as I stood my ground, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. I am not taking anything away from you, John. You had the opportunity to build something meaningful with me, but your greed overshadowed our love. Now, it's time for us to move on separately. With those final words, I closed the door on our past, a chapter that had come to an irrevocable end. The weight of my decision hung in the air, leaving behind a sense of both liberation and uncertainty. But deep down, I knew that staying true to myself was the only way forward. In the days that followed, the divorce became finalized, severing the legal ties that had bound us. John's presence in my life diminished, replaced by a renewed focus on my responsibilities as the manager of my father's company and the custodian of my unexpected inheritance. The weight of the world seemed to rest on my shoulders, but I faced it with resilience and determination. As the dust settled from the storm of my divorce, I found myself standing at the threshold of a new chapter in my life. The weight of my responsibilities as the manager of my father's company and the custodian of my unexpected inheritance had grown, but so had my determination to navigate these uncharted waters with grace and resilience. With each passing day, I delved deeper into the intricacies of running the company, immersing myself in the day-to-day operations and strategic decision-making. The talented team I had assembled proved to be invaluable, their dedication and expertise helping to steer the company towards new heights. One afternoon, as I sat in a board meeting, brainstorming ideas for expansion and growth, a familiar face appeared before me. It was Mark, a childhood friend who had always supported my dreams and ambitions. Kathy, he greeted me with a warm smile. I've been following your journey from afar, and I must say, I'm incredibly impressed with what you've achieved. A sense of nostalgia washed over me as I returned his smile. Thank you, Mark. It hasn't been easy, but I'm determined to make my father proud and build something meaningful. Mark's eyes gleamed with excitement. That's precisely why I'm here, Kathy. I've been working on a new venture, an innovative technology startup that aligns with your vision and values. I believe we can achieve great things together. Surprise tinged with curiosity filled my heart as I leaned forward. Tell me more, Mark. He began painting a vivid picture of his startup, a company driven by a mission to make a positive impact through sustainable and socially responsible technology. It was a perfect match for my own values, a chance to extend my influence beyond my father's company and create a legacy that extended to the wider world. The more Mark spoke, the more my excitement grew. A spark of inspiration ignited within me, fueling my determination to explore this new opportunity. And so after careful consideration and consultation with my trusted advisors, I made the decision to invest in Mark's startup and become a strategic partner. These turned into weeks, and as we worked tirelessly to bring our visions to life, the startup began to flourish. Together, we harnessed the power of technology to address pressing societal challenges, making a tangible difference in the lives of people around us. During a celebratory dinner with Mark, a mix of gratitude and contentment filled the air. I raised my glass, toasting to our partnership and the new beginning it symbolized. Mark, I want to thank you for believing in me and presenting this opportunity. Together, we have the power to create a lasting impact, to shape a future that aligns with our values. He clinked his glass against mine, a smile of shared determination on his face. Kathy, it's an honor to work alongside you. Your strength and resilience inspire me every day. Together, we will achieve greatness.